There was a time when you knew where to find him. When prayer felt like a room you could walk into, familiar, warm, inhabited. You didn't have to search. You didn't have to convince yourself he was there. He just was. And now you reach for that same room and find the door open but the lights off and no one answering. Not angry silence. Not cold silence. Just absence. Where something used to be. If you've been reaching into that quiet and finding nothing, stay. Ask the question out loud. It's allowed. You're allowed. You remember what it felt like when God was close. Not as a theological concept, as something you could actually sense. A nearness that showed up in the ordinary moments. A worship song that cracked something open, a verse that landed exactly where you needed it, a quiet during prayer that felt inhabited rather than empty. You didn't manufacture those moments. They came, and you built your understanding of what faith felt like around them. And then, gradually, or maybe suddenly, you can't be sure which, they stopped. Not the faith. You still believe, or you're trying to. Not the practice. You still show up, still open the Bible, still bow your head when it feels like theater and keep going anyway. But something that used to be present in those moments is no longer there. The room looks the same. You're standing in the same place. But the quality of the air has changed. Whatever it was that made it feel like more than just you talking to yourself, it's gone quiet. And the silence is disorienting in a way you didn't expect, because you weren't prepared for this to be something that could happen. You were prepared for doubt. You were prepared for difficulty. You were prepared for seasons of struggle, for prayers that took a long time to be answered, for faith that cost something. What you weren't prepared for was the feeling of reaching for someone you've always been able to find, and finding absence instead. So you've been doing what you always do, trying harder, praying longer, reading more, worshiping more intentionally, waiting for the familiar warmth to return. And each time it doesn't, the question you've been afraid to say out loud gets a little louder in the back of your mind. God, where are you? Not as a declaration that he's gone. As a genuine, bewildered, slightly desperate question from someone who knew where to find him and can no longer locate that knowing. That question is not the opposite of faith. In the history of people who have loved God most deeply, it may be one of the most faithful things a person can ask. It means you have not stopped looking. It means the looking still matters to you. And that, in the middle of the silence, is not a small thing. Here is what the silence is not. It is not proof that he left. Presence and felt presence are not the same thing. And the distance between the two, that gap where you used to feel something and now feel nothing, is not evidence of absence. It is evidence of the limits of feeling as a navigation system. Feelings are real. They matter. But they are not always accurate reporters of what is actually present in a room. The moments when God felt closest were not the moments he was most there. He was fully there in the moments that felt empty too. The fullness was constant. What changed was your capacity to perceive it, not because of failure, not because of sin, not because something went wrong in you, but because perception fluctuates, and seasons change, and the interior life of a human being does not maintain a constant temperature. Psalm 46 verse 10 doesn't say, "Feel that I am God." It says, "Be still and know that I am God." No, not feel, not sense, not experience with the same warmth as last season. No, the kind of knowing that lives beneath sensation. That exists when the feelings go quiet. That does not require the room to feel inhabited in order to trust that it is. The stillness being asked of you right now is not passive. It is one of the most active forms of faith available. The choice to remain in the room even when the lights are low. To continue to address someone you cannot currently feel. to let the knowing hold what the feeling cannot. He has not moved. You are standing exactly where he is. The silence is not his absence. It is an invitation into a deeper kind of knowing than feeling can reach. There is a man in the Bible who knew where Jesus was better than almost anyone alive, and who ended up in a prison cell asking if he had been wrong about everything. His name was John. John the Baptist. This is the man who leapt in his mother's womb when Mary entered the room. The man who prepared the way, who stood in the Jordan River and said to anyone who would listen, "I am not the one. He is the one. Make straight the way of the Lord." The man who pointed directly at Jesus and said words that echo through every generation since, "Behold, the Lamb of God." If anyone had a right to certainty, it was John. And yet, months later, in a prison cell, with no way out and no rescue coming, he sent messengers to Jesus with a question he should have been the last person on earth to need to ask: "Are you the one who is to come, or should we expect someone else?" Read that again slowly. The man who pointed to Jesus. The man who baptized him. The man whose entire life was oriented toward the announcement of who Jesus was, is sitting in a cell, in the dark, asking whether he got it right. He is not asking from unbelief. He is asking from the same place you are asking from right now, a place where the felt certainty has gone quiet, where the silence has stretched long enough that even the things he knew most surely have begun to waver at the edges, where the cell is dark enough that the light he spent his life pointing to seems very far away. And what did Jesus send back? Not a rebuke, not a theological correction, not, "John, you of all people should know better." He sent back evidence. Go and tell John what you are hearing and seeing. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, the poor have good news brought to them. And then, quietly, after the messengers left, Jesus turned to the crowd and said something that John never heard from his cell, but that was true of him anyway: "Among those born of women, no one has arisen greater than John the Baptist." His doubt did not disqualify him. His question from the dark did not diminish what was true about him. He asked where the one he'd built his life around was, and he was still called the greatest. You don't have to imagine what it feels like to have given everything to a certainty that has gone quiet in the dark. You already know what it is to sit in a cell that should feel like freedom and ask the question you were sure you'd never need to ask. Ask it anyway. The answer is already on its way. The felt absence of God is one of the most disorienting experiences a faithful person can have, precisely because it arrives without announcement, without cause, without any clear explanation of what changed or what you're supposed to do about it. And the temptation, when it arrives, is to treat it as a spiritual problem to be solved. To search your life for what you did wrong, what door you left open, what act of unfaithfulness created the distance. To believe that if you can find the reason, you can fix it, and the warmth will return. But sometimes the silence is not a consequence. Sometimes it is a season. The mystics called it the dark night of the soul, not as a punishment, but as a passage. A place in the spiritual life where the training wheels of felt presence are removed, not because God is done with you, but because He is inviting you into a deeper form of trust. A trust that does not depend on sensation to remain intact. A faith that can find its footing in the dark. John the Baptist's question from prison was not answered with a feeling. It was answered with evidence, with the reminder that things were happening, even in his absence from them. Even from inside a cell with no view of what was occurring beyond its walls. The distance you feel is not the full picture. Something is happening beyond the frame of what you can currently perceive. The absence is not abandonment. It is a different kind of presence, one that is asking you to find it not in feeling, but in the quiet, stubborn, daily choice to keep reaching anyway. That reaching is itself an answer to your question. Let's slow down. Not to manufacture a feeling of closeness you don't currently have. Not to perform a warmth that isn't in the room right now. Just to stop moving for a moment, to let the reaching pause, and simply be in the reaching's absence for a few breaths. Begin with your breath. Inhale slowly, and notice, just notice, that the air still arrives. That something you did not produce is still being given to you, quietly, without announcement, in the middle of the silence. Exhale. And let the exhale be a release of the effort to feel, Just for this moment, just for this breath. Now, instead of trying to close the distance, try something smaller. Just acknowledge where you are. Say it quietly in your mind, without apology. I am here. I cannot feel you right now. And I am still here. That sentence, unpolished, unarresting, entirely honest, is a prayer. A real one. More real, perhaps, than the ones that came more easily. Jesus said it plainly, not as comfort from a distance, but as a truth spoken from inside the human experience of suffering. In this world you will have trouble. But take heart, I have overcome the world. He did not say, in this world you will feel my presence constantly. He said, you will have trouble. And then, take heart. The trouble is real. The distance is real. And the overcoming is also real, even when it cannot be felt. Even when the only honest prayer available is, I cannot find you right now, and I am still looking. That prayer is enough. The looking is enough. Close your eyes if you can. And if the silence feels thick tonight, if this feels like sending a message into a void, bring that feeling too. Bring the doubt that it will land anywhere. Bring the exhaustion of reaching. Bring all of it into this moment. You don't need faith the size of a mountain right now. A thread is enough. Come on the thread. God, I keep starting this prayer and stopping. Because I don't know how to begin when I can't feel where you are. Because the words feel like they're going somewhere I can't locate. Because there was a time when this felt like conversation, and right now it feels like standing in a room and speaking to no one, hoping that no one is actually someone who hears. I don't say that to wound. I say it because it's the most honest thing I have. And I've decided, today, in this, that honest is what I can offer. I miss you. Not as a theological concept. As a presence. As the thing that used to be in the room when I prayed. As the warmth I'd recognize if it returned. I miss feeling like my words were landing somewhere. Like the quiet between my sentences was inhabited. Close your eyes if you can. And bring the honest thing, not the composed version, not the version that sounds like faith is winning. Bring what's actually here. The frustration. The bewilderment. The exhaustion of a person who has been trying and looking up to find the view unchanged. Bring all of that. It is welcome here. God, I don't know if I trust you right now. I need to say that before anything else, because I think you already know it and I'm tired of praying around it. I've been faithful. I've been trying. I've shown up when I didn't want to, believed when I didn't feel it, kept going when every honest part of me wanted to stop. And I'm looking at my life, and I can't find the evidence that any of it registered. That scares me. Not just the unchanged circumstances. The possibility that I've been talking into silence all this time and didn't know it. Tell me that's not true. Not with an explanation. I don't need the theology right now. Just tell me somewhere in this quiet that you have been here. That the prayers landed somewhere. That the faithfulness wasn't performance for an empty room. I need that to be real. I am choosing, right now, at real cost, to believe that it is. Because here is what I know, underneath everything, I am still here. Still talking to you. Still, despite everything, despite the unchanged and the unanswered and the quiet that has stretched longer than I thought I could survive, still reaching. Not gracefully. Not with the confidence I had when this began. But reaching. Something kept me reaching. I need to believe that something was you. God, I'm not asking you to change everything today. I've stopped being sure what to ask for, honestly. The specific request feels smaller now than the thing underneath it, which is just this. Let me know it's not for nothing. Let me know the effort has been seen. Let me know that somewhere in the economy of all this, the faithfulness is being held. Show me what Naomi couldn't see, not the ending, just a glimpse of what is already in motion. Just enough to take the next step without needing to know where it leads. Renew me inwardly, even as everything outwardly stays the same. Even as I walk back into the same unchanged life when this ends. Meet me there, in the ordinary, unspectacular, unresolved middle of it, and be the thing that makes it survivable. I am still here. That has to mean something. Let it mean something. Amen. You came here with a question that doesn't have a clean answer. And I'm not going to pretend it does. Because you've been given clean answers before, and they didn't reach the place where this lives. What you needed today wasn't an explanation. It was company. It was the acknowledgement that the question is legitimate, that the exhaustion of faithfulness without visible return is real and hard, and not something you should have to carry in silence. Naomi walked back into Bethlehem calling herself bitter. And God didn't correct her. He met her in it, in the ordinary days that followed, in the quiet provisions she almost didn't notice, in the story being woven together beneath the surface of her empty hands. You are inside a story you cannot see the shape of yet. That is not a comfort that resolves the frustration. But it is a truth that holds, even when nothing else does. The effort is not disappearing into nothing. The faithfulness is not being wasted. The unchanged surface is not the whole picture. It is the part of the picture you have access to right now. Come back tomorrow. Not to measure again. Not to check the scoreboard. Just to be here, in this quiet, in this presence, in this space where the question is allowed to exist without being resolved. And if someone you know is exhausted from trying, from doing everything right and seeing nothing move, don't offer them a reason. Just sit with them. Send this. Let them feel, even slightly, that the trying has been seen. Because it has. Every single attempt. Every single day. The door you think closed behind you is still open. It always was. You just couldn't see it from inside the trying.